Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another and the final trading battle of 2025. Today, we have got an action-packed show for you guys, and we're going to jump right into things because we just had a pretty fascinating Fed Chair Powell press conference and the decision to cut interest rates from the Federal Reserve by 25 basis points. Markets are volatile, and to trade them live, we have got quite the lineup today. We are going Austin v. Austin, Austin squared. Austin Silver and Austin, or Moneyball Austin, are going head to head. They're going to be trading here live, talking markets. We've got a list of challenges that we're going to throw them through in terms of some hoops. It's going to be a lot of fun. As always, we'll talk markets. And today's live stream, as always, DNA Funded, the proud sponsor of the trading battle. Thanks to them for making this possible. And thanks for you guys for joining us here as we get into this awesome event. With that said, let me go ahead and introduce, I gave you a little preview there. Let me introduce our first Austin of the day, Moneyball Austin. All right, so we got both Austins on the screen. I'm going to go first with Moneyball Austin. Here's a little bit of a preview just to hype you up here. Moneyball Austin has been actively trading since 2014, is a traveling trader from Canada who helps helps others work towards consistent profitability and greater freedom through their trading. He originally began his career as an electrician before realizing the traditional 9-to-5 wasn't for him and made the switch to trading. Moneyball Austin is now known for his honest, clear-eyed perspective on what traders can realistically expect in their own trading journey. Austin, welcome to the Trading Battle. Today's your first Trading Battle. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Very exciting.
You're from Canada, right? Which part of Canada?
British Columbia, Vancouver area.
Very nice. It was beautiful out there. I was there last year. It's very nice. And of course, we have our Trading Battle veteran, but he's back for another one. Austin Silver, good friend of mine in the trading space. Austin is a professional day trader and founder of Austin Silver SFX, or ASFX, known for his transparent, data-driven approach to VWAP trading. An entrepreneur at heart, he's built multiple successful businesses around the strategies that he uses in the Forex market. Also trades some prop firm accounts, futures, all sorts of stuff. And at the core of everything he does, genuine passion for helping others in the trading space with a clear mission to empower as many people as possible to trade actively and take full control of their financial future. He's also one heck of a trading coach. Austin, good to have you on the show, man.
Thanks, buddy. It's good to see you. Austin, nice to meet you. Happy to be here, everybody. Looking forward to this. It's a great day to do this, especially with our first challenge on deck.
Sure is. So basically how this will work, guys in the audience, and I should just throw out a little bit of a teaser. If you stick around, first of all, you're going to learn something because these guys have a lot of experience. So we're going to be taking a look at some markets and poking into the brain an idea of what these guys are looking at when they're placing trades in front of a live audience. But on top of that, we also have some fun giveaways. We're going to be giving away 5 exclusive DNA funded coupons to people watching in the chat. So stay engaged, stay watching, and we will have you guys. All that information can be found as we go through the stream. So stay tuned on that. I'll have more information as we go through that. So they're going to be trading in their accounts here as we go through a couple different challenges. And like I said, we've also got some Christmas bonus vouchers. If you're looking to get funded, there's some really cool stuff that we'll get into in just a bit. Without further ado, I want to just jump right into in terms of challenge number 1. Now, we have 5 challenges today that we're going to be taking a look at. And you guys, as the traders in the battle here, will have the decisions to make. What are you going to trade? Are you going to go long? Are you going to go short? And all we ask in terms of the stream side of things is just share your thought process as to why you choose to go long or short. And the way this will work, the winner of the trading battle is deemed by, at the end of the week, essentially, how the performance of your trades do. If you have the better P&L, you win. If you have the worst P&L, you lose. And it's all in good fun. It's an educational basis. Of course, we know that, trading success is not based on one trade or anything like that. But hopefully for the audience, this is an educational resource that people can tap into the way you're thinking. So challenge number 1 is the inflation mandate. Gold hawkish versus dovish. test. So the first one here is you can trade either gold or you can trade silver. You have to pick one of the two and go long or short. Now, I'm going to start since Austin has home field advantage. He's done this before. Austin, you're up first. In terms of challenge one, gold or silver, long or short, defend your reasoning. Go for it.
I think that it's like I said, a great day to play this. It's really hard to be short either one. So I think the play for me is going to be long. I'm trying to determine which one I want to buy, if not, either one, how heavy I want to be. We both know, because you and I talked on the podcast last time we hung out, that commodities are not hot. They're literally like inferno on fire right now. And then since then, what happened, bro? We did the podcast in November, and now look, silver's moved up $10 an ounce, over $60 an ounce, which is insane. So I think often people will come in and be like, the gravy train's over. This Fed announcement is going to be the one that ruins it. And now I don't make money doing that as a trader on the short term. So I'm definitely not going to come in and do it on the long term. And I don't think we are going to see as many rate cuts as they thought going into 2026. Of course, that's dependent on who they hire to replace Powell. But the fundamental drivers, I think, are what take the wheel for me, especially since we got 2 days to hold these trades. I don't see a reason for gold or silver to pull back strong over the next 2 days. I would expect it to either slow down or continue higher, just based on the fact that the Fed is saying labor is softening. They're saying so jobs are weaker, right? I think that was the main takeaway from this so far. We're in a high end of the neutral range rate for this, at least the way Powell wants to see it. So I think commodities are just, in some ways, just getting started. I wouldn't be surprised at $65, $70 silver by this summer. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Again, so you're looking at going long, and your pick is silver. I mean, it's the name, right? Austin Silver. So I feel like
I should.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we'll give you a second here in terms of placing your trade. We'll give you a few minutes to just go through that and execute that, and we'll toss over in the meantime. Of course, the better looking Austin. He's really coming in with the name change on us from the top ropes. Austin, same prompt to you, of course. Gold or silver, long or short. And I'm a little bit familiar with Austin Silver's style of trading, his kind of conceptual view of the market. But I got to say, I'm much newer to yours. I've seen a little bit of your content, but guide us through a little bit of your thinking in terms of why long, why short, and which one you'd be watching.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be looking at most likely silver. Year to date, I think it's up over 107%. Gold as well, completely outperforming the markets, the stock market in general. So I believe in general, over the next even 2 to 3 years, 5 years, it's going to be the best performer, as in your return on investment. So I agree with Austin. The fundamentals are very strong. The technicals. How do you go short this market? It's like if you're trying to swing short the stock market, you're going to lose. And so right now, over the last couple of years, you're going to be losing money if you've been swing shorting the metals market. And so I just believe over the next couple of years, even over the next couple of hours, that it is one of the best investments to be making.
Okay. So you're looking to, I guess the next question for you guys is, when we're making these decisions, long, short, precious metals, it also, of course, comes into play with your thinking. If you're getting long, are you just going to, what's the stop loss going to be like? What are you using in terms of take profits? Are you going to take partials? Like, what's your approach to it? So in terms of setting up a trade here for the battle, since I know we are constrained, right? You're always sort of pushed into a corner with these battles where you have to make a decision that's not necessarily, when you would personally take the trade, but for the sake of the battle, how would you, if you had to take a position, point blank, how would you approach it, long or short? How would you map out like a trade setup, risk management, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this right now, if I execute a buy setup right now, it's already up 2.5%, 2.1% over the last, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's up over 2%. So now if you go into the market and just push buy, you got to start thinking, well, this thing's up over 2.5%. Do I want to be a buyer now at this price? And do I see it continuing to make new all-time highs? Or do I see it potentially selling off for a little bit? And so that's why I think a lot of people might come to the market late, and you might see a reversal in this market. So that is something you do have to factor in, especially when we're hitting The previous all-time high right now, earlier yesterday, I believe, was December 9th of 61.5. So you could see some type of resistance in sellers trying to defend this level. And if I think, yeah, it's still going to go up, well, it's still already been up 2.5% over the last 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
I got
Exactly.
it. I'm in my long. I'm giving you silver, buddy. You can do whatever you want, long or short. I got a gold long on. I'd like to see this move in the Asian session. I'm looking with the two VWAPs, Nick, that are really important. I'm looking at today's start of day VWAP, FOMC day. That's just been claimed by this news. Again, like what I said at the beginning, I like actually trading right now when I've done these battles before. Sometimes at this time of day, I don't like trading.
Sure.
So I like that take of VWAP. And then if you put a start of month, James, if you want to throw my screen up, start of month VWAP will actually also be taken here with this 4-hour candle close. It's been taken here if we drop to a lower time frame. So as a VWAP trader, I can see that purple VWAP on screen as a start of week, and then a yellow is today's VWAP. Both of those nice 15-minute closes. We're going to set up potentially here for not only an hour close here from 2 to 3 o'clock, but even a nice 3 to 4 o'clock bar if this can sustain. So now seeing again that we're looking at like a 2-day trade, Nick, I'm not looking for this to take out the highs from start of month. I'd like this. I mean, if we can move into 42.60 and I'm at 42.30, that's a nice little 2-day move for me on the long. So I'm hoping Asian session takes this thing higher. I'm hoping whoever wants to come in and trade and react to the Fed news sees the VWAPs being taken there and decides that we have more buyers than sellers in this market. Price should continue to drift higher. So
Sure. Fair enough. Yep. Very makes good sense. So you've got the trade mapped out. You're looking for that poke through, maybe back to those highs. And
one thing, not to cut you off, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no,
You
go
asked
for it.
about stop loss. One thing I should say is like, I'm not an R multiple trader. I'm a scalper. So like,
Mhm.
I don't care if I have to risk however far this is to get these equal highs. If it doesn't look like 1R or 2R, I know I have a couple of students in our group that know you, Austin, and said you're a great trader with multiple R multiple. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I'll do negative risk reward because
Sure.
as Nick, you said, you've seen me trade. I'm winning 70+% of the trades. So I feel like for me, this swing trade, I'll apply the same methodology. It might look a little negative 1R to the live chat. Everybody don't freak out. Okay. So we're just trading with momentum based on fundamentals into an equal high setback at the beginning of the month. That's the concept.
There you go. And again, that's why we do these battles, Austin. At the end of the day, the idea is like there's people who trade all these different styles, and risk to reward is one of those things people will absolutely sacrifice you if you have a negative risk
Dude, it
reward.
is one of those controversial things you're going to get ripped on the internet for. Absolutely.
And yet, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is expectancy. Is like if you keep
That's it.
placing trades, do you make more than you lose? That's all that matters. Doesn't matter where you put your stop, where you
Which
make
is a reflection of how you handle losses, which you
Yep.
do very well. Your expectancy can be good in a negative risk reward scenario if you're a trader who does not take huge losses. That's the key.
Yep. So there you go. And now back to Moneyball, Austin, on this same topic, just really quick. What are your thoughts on it? Weigh in, because again, there's people who have all sorts of different styles in terms of stop management. Some people choose to scale in, scale out. What's your approach in terms of, setting up a trade like this and stop placements, targets, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make a quick comment on his reward to risk comments that Austin just made. I would agree. I mean, I was talking about it the other day with another trader, and we were talking about having a mechanical take profit. And I see people all the time saying, oh, I'm going to get out at 1-to-1. I always get out at 2-to-1. But it's not optimal at all in your trading. If you think about your trading, oh, I only get out at 1-to-1, 2-to-1. Well, you shouldn't be risking the same amount of money or even going for the same reward to risk on your A+ setups versus your B setups. They still might be profitable, but if you have a massive edge in the market that might come every once in a while, you should be potentially risking more because you have more confidence in that setup and even going for more profits. And I'm sure, Austin and Nick, you guys do the same thing type of way, but I see all the time people like, oh, I just got to go for 1-to-1, 2-to-1. It's not optimal at all. You guys know what I mean?
Because it's like, no, the market doesn't care about your stop loss, bro. You were a little late. I was a little early. No, the market doesn't know where your stop is, so it doesn't know your 1R. But if the market trades into equal highs or equal lows, you're stupid to hold that trade and think it might just rip through it and continue because you're in this move. Could that happen? Sure. But I think, like you said, manual take profits. I have this other controversial video now going all over my Instagram. If you go look at the comments are crazy. And I said, stop using take profits. Just stop. Just get out full or trail your stop. especially if you're a day trader. Take profits are stupid. You should be reacting to the market, especially because now I'm using Bookmap and order flow. If things are changing, I need to react, whether that's move a take profit or take it away. So I just completely threw take profits away. It's not this conversation of R multiple is not a conversation that helps traders get more profitable. You know, sure. Nick, you talk to traders all the time, bro. There's so many conversations and jargon that gets thrown around, but what actually helps you make more money? You know what I mean? So I think we should be filtering some of these conversations through that lens. Is it valuable, or are we just doing cocktail talk? That's what Brian Shannon would tell me.
Yeah, I love it.
Have a beer and hang out.
Picture perfect trades are one thing, but profitable trading might not necessarily look the same for each trader. So without further ado, we got to keep it moving. We got a lot of challenges to do. So we've got both of you guys long precious metals. One went long gold, one went long silver. Not that I'm in the battle, but I agree with the idea on both. Bullishness on precious metals. Let's see if we get some follow through. But I think what matters now is that we flip over to our next challenge. We're flipping the script over to the Forex side of things. Maybe we can just play our quick clip of. So there you go. You see it there on the screen. We're trading the majors. We're talking euro dollar, British pound versus the dollar, dollar yen, Aussie dollar. It's one major FX pair, and choose to go long or short with also your choice and explaining it as we've done with the first one. So this time we'll flip the script. Austin, better looking Austin, by self-named. You're up first in terms of a major dollar cross. What's your thought process? Which one are you picking? Do you have one that you like above the rest?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I look at my trading, when I used to be trading currencies and stuff like that, Euro USD was always one of my best. And I think people should focus on what they're best at, only trade a select few amount of markets rather than trading 40 or 50 different markets. But when it came to the currencies, I always liked the Euro USD. It's the most liquid. It's the cheapest spreads and commission. So that's why I'll be looking at the Euro USD in general. Now, I think the Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, they did cut interest rates. So in general, you got to kind of look at it and say, like, look, if they're going to continue to cut rates, that's going to potentially devalue the dollar. But then on the other side, when you look at the GDP of the United States versus other countries, the United States is like far better than other countries out there, right? And so I get the debate of why people might say the dollar is a much better investment versus other currencies, but in general, I am long-term short biased the dollar. So in return, I would be long biased Euro USD. And with prices overall breaking out to the upside, especially with us here, primarily I'm looking at supply and demand, taking out little levels of supply, maybe breaking downward trend lines and that type of stuff, creating higher highs and higher lows. So I'll definitely be looking at buying this thing. But then it goes back to when I first started talking about silver. I mean, now you're buying this thing after such a large move relative to this daily time frame. It's up almost 0.5% over the last couple hours. So by me now jumping into the market, it's aggressive. So typically, if I'm looking at this, I would like to see a pullback if I could. Originally in the week, I wanted to get long from down here in the Euro USD, hoping that they would continue to devalue rates as they did. And based off of what Jerome Powell's potentially saying, I'm not having him in my ear right now, talking about what's going to be going on. And then you got to be looking at the next Fed chairman that might be coming in, Hassett. He's going to be basically just wanting to lower rates, being Donald Trump's puppet. So in general, that's not very bullish for the United States dollar. So that's why I want to continue to lean towards looking for shorting the dollar, which in return would be buying the Euro USD. So I did not manage to get filled on my pullback from down over here, but I will still continue to look to get long because I'm already long silver and I just bought the market. I would like to see prices pull back a little bit. Now, I really don't know how big of the pullback we are going to get, but I'm going to have a little pending order, probably in this neck of the woods, 1.16, seeing if it can pull back off of this previous day support, look to get long with probably a stop loss down in this general location down in here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks great. Okay, that makes great sense, Austin. There you go. So he's watching the euro dollar. I like what you said there about trading what you like the most, what you're most familiar with. Everybody trades something a little bit differently, whether it be style, chart, whatever. Also, just a little bit of a heads up for listeners who have been waiting patiently. We are doing our first giveaway here of the day, giving away a DNA funded challenge, $5,000 one phase challenge, free entry here. Promo code has just been dropped in the live stream chat. Just full transparency. This is first come, first serve. So grab it if you can. If you're the one to get it, then you got it. It's just been dropped in the chat that you're watching here right now. QR code on the screen, scan that, or click the link in the live stream description, or just head over to DNA Funded's website. But there you go. First one is given away. And what we're going to do is, because we had a little bit of technical difficulties on our side, they should be resolved at this point. We're going to go ahead and now do our second one with that. We were supposed to do it a second ago, but I was giving them a moment. I was stalling for time. Second free giveaway here. Let me just make sure I got this right. Yes. So our free DNA funded one phase challenge for a 10K coupon code is now going to be dropped in the chat as well. So that's our second free DNA funded one phase challenge being dropped in the live stream chat. There it is. It's first come, first serve. I see some people saying, how do we get it? First come, first serve. You punch in that promo code at that checkout, it will give you a free challenge, but it's only redeemable by one person per code. So it's first come, first serve. Good luck. Hope you'll get it. And now let's roll on to the other Austin. We've got Moneyball Austin watching the euro dollar with a bullish perspective. Austin Silver, you're up. What are you looking at in terms of emerging?
I shed a tear, Nick. I haven't typed in a currency pair in a long time, bro. I almost forgot how to spell it. The trend since Liberation Day on the pound yen, 13%, strong. Take a look at AUD USD. Strong trend recently, just taken VWAP from high of year. Since that day, 7 days ago, up 2.5%, 2.25%. Strong short-term trend. Not as convinced in that one as I am in pound yen. I look at his idea on Euro USD. I see what he's saying, but I don't see trend here. I see confusion. I just see chop. So when I'm going through the four that you're giving me to trade, I don't like this one because it's too sideways for me. I like this one. This is USD JPY. This is US dollar yen, everybody. But if I short this, which is what I'd want to do, and I'm looking at a daily chart here, if I short this, then I'm basically taking the same trade that he's taking if he's buying Euro USD. So I'm thinking I'm not going to do either of those two. I'm not going to do AUD because, like I said, if I was trading this on a day trade, dude, I'm closing this trade in profit. This is a strong exhaustion move. Currency pairs are different. This thing can keep going for sure. But what I'm getting at is I'm going to move to the volatile one of the three, and I'm going to find a long position here to see GBP JPY extend hopefully into the weekend. I think if you look at the reaction to the news, strong. No sellers coming in today. We throw just a quick VWAP on to the changeover of day. I mean, strong bounce here off of that VWAP. So we have buyers defending pound yen after this interest rate news that they cut, like Austin said, but they're probably not going to keep cutting. Probably not much. Maybe, Nick, can you give us your take on that? Am I correct? One more, maybe they're saying in 2026, maybe two, but it's not like we're cutting, unless this new guy has it completely changes the game, right? So I'm going to look to long pound yen.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I like that from the macro breakdown. It makes sense, right? It's sort of in line with the stock market view that, like, okay, we got the rate cut today. They're projecting one rate cut next year. But the new guy, as you mentioned, he's a little bit more in the Trump team in terms of cutting rates. And so, we'll see how that all shakes up, but makes good sense. Pound yen, looking at some longs on that side of things. So we've got euro dollar trade, pound yen trade. We're trading gold, we're trading silver, a little bit of everything here, but we're not done. We got more challenges, guys. So we've got challenge number 3 up and ready. And in just a second, I'll go ahead and we'll play the video here real quick. Okay, so a little bit of an interesting one. Now your choices to trade from. You can choose any of the following, and of course, you can go either long or short, and why took the trade. So NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500, Bitcoin or Ethereum. You've got a nice little selection here, mostly the risk assets, right? You talk about the NASDAQ, the S&P, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, we'll go back here this time starting with Austin Silver. You just had it. We'll go back to you here. Which one you're first here this time of that?
Bitcoin, bro. You know me.
Hey.
When it's moving like that yesterday, it gets my eye. I've been doing some of the crypto prop stuff too, so I'm really into crypto again. I'm such a player of the volatility. It just sucks me in. So I like to see the buyers maintaining control, not just from overnight last night, but if you even put an anchored VWAP back on when we started moving yesterday, buyers maintaining control from then. Even take a VWAP back to our low, going back to Sunday night, our most recent low, still holding strong above that. Resistance here at 94.4. But if I got 2 days to hold this thing, I'm a buyer of Bitcoin. So I'm going to get myself positioned into a long here in a second. Keep it easy. How long did that take? 30 seconds, dude.
That was good. That was an easy one for you. All right, Moneyball Austin, same prompt to you of the 4 that we listed: S&P, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, or Ethereum. Take your pick and explain your reasoning.
That's a really tough one. I'm looking at Ethereum. Overall in crypto, I like the long-term buys. In general, I think you're buying this thing at quite a discount. I don't like the location of where it is right now, because when I look on a monthly and weekly time frame, I see prices reacting off of this general level of a weekly level of demand. A lot of buyers stepped in here, and they've been rallying up for the last 3-4 weeks now on Ethereum. So when I look down to a daily, I will then see, hey, look, we are now reacting off of a very clear support, broke through, and now we're kind of potentially seeing this level as a nice little resistance / supply zone that a lot of sellers might be looking to come in and defend this level. So I'm going to go against them for a little bit and say, you know what? I think this thing will sell off a little bit, but I don't see it selling off over the next 24 hours down to 3,100. So I don't think prices will go above 3,600. That's where I'll be looking to have like a stop loss. But I think at this point, I'm going to take a little bit of a playbook out of Austin's playbook and look at a negative reward to risk on something like this, because we are coming up into resistance. It is a nice little level of supply. And I think the buyers might be just slightly exhausted to this point. So I think prices will come back down and test 3.3K on something like this. So that's something I'll be looking at.
Okay, there you go. So we've got a little bit of divergence here between the two. We got some bearishness on Ethereum versus some bullishness on Bitcoin. So setting up the trade, awesome, and makes good sense. I mean, you do have crypto at a pretty critical level here right now. If either ways, if you do get the breakout, it could be a much needed reversal for the very ugly nature of crypto here recently. However, again, bears on the higher time frame here, at least on that level of resistance you got. We'll see if they can take a stab at moving it lower. So good stuff. We got one long, one short. Both of you chose crypto, which I thought was interesting. So no NAS and S&P. Maybe we'll throw in some trades on those later on. Just real quick, also, I had some questions in the audience. The DNA funded coupons are being dropped in the live stream chat. You got to keep an eye on it. So we're going to give full heads up. I'm about to do another giveaway here. We're going to be dropping in just a second. Let's see what we got. Okay, guys, we got a 25K one-phase challenge. Coupon code is going to be dropped here in the live stream chat by the team behind the scenes here on the Trading Battle. And of course, we will also have the QR code on the screen in case you would like to activate those DNA-funded coupons. So click the link being dropped in the live stream chat or the QR code that you see on your screen right now. Simply scan that. It is first come, first serve. The one-phase challenge, there it is, dropped on the screen. First come, first serve. There's one person who will get it. And then we will, of course, be doing a couple more. So don't go anywhere. Stream is heating up here. And we are now on to challenge number 4. Let's cue the video. So we're back to currency pairs. This time, a minor currency pair. It's the first time we've done this this battle challenge that I can remember. We haven't done this before. We've been doing majors and crypto and commodities. This one forces you guys a little bit outside of maybe your usual comfort zone. I'm not sure if you guys trade minor currency pairs too often. I know Austin Silver's moved a little away from currencies in recent years, but some minor currency pairs. You've got some choices here. You can trade the yen pairs. You can trade, Aussie CAD, Euro Pound, Euro CAD, whatever floats your boat. It's just got to be a minor currency pair. This time we'll go back to Moneyball Austin. Whatever your balls in your court, minor currency pair is all you got to choose from.
That's a tough one. I have not looked at a minor currency in like years and years. One of the ones I was looking at, would you consider Aussie New Zealand
Sure.
a minor? Yeah.
Yep.
So originally I was looking at potentially shorting something like this. This has a long-term interesting analysis. Now, I'm not going to be taking this in a long-term or in my real account or anything like that. But when you look at like a monthly time frame on something like this, you do have prices reacting off of this range-bound market off the very top of this level of supply / top of the range, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely a buy low, sell high type of environment since 2013, basically since I think all of us have started trading. It's been in a range-bound market. And so it's at a really interesting level, kind of testing this high right now. And I think recently the New Zealand rates bank have came out and said, look, we're looking at actually starting to raise interest rates and stuff like that. And a lot of these other countries are now hitting the end of their quantitative easing and looking to increase rates from here on out. And overall, I see this thing potentially selling back down a little bit. And I have seen some nice confirmation on 4-hour timeframes, and we go down to a 4-hour time frame. We've eventually started to break upward momentum lines, higher highs, higher lows, taking out this level, showing me confirmation that the sellers are stepping in at this point. And so originally, this was a nice little level of supply that I liked on that pullback. But now that as it's making new lower lows, I do like this level of 4-hour supply, nice and balanced to the downside, taking out levels right here of support / pivot points. And so in general, I like this level for selling opportunities. As of like right here, right now, that's the question I got to ask myself, because it's definitely going to be coming up against some type of support level, as in you go down to say a 1-hour time frame, you'll see it going higher highs and higher lows, higher highs, and that type of action. So I understand somebody's view that this thing might be potentially rallying back up to the upside. Now, I'm personally going to go short again. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Aussie came out with bank rates correct yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yep. Came in a little hawkish.
Okay. So what do you think about that, Nick? Would you agree with or disagree on something like that?
The Aussie Kiwi is like such a choppy range bound currency pair. What you were going off of with the monthly chart, I generally agree. I mean, the chart is just super range bound over the longer stretch. So I don't really hate the idea. This is kind of a weird concept, but I really don't hate the idea of being long or short on the pair and just sort of dollar cost averaging in either direction. So I think, with enough time, the pair tends to just chop back and forth. So I kind of like the idea of either direction. And I guess you have to also consider the Kiwi in that equation. If a little bit of hawkishness from the RBA, that's the Australian, but then the Kiwi, also not particularly weak either. So it's a tricky one.
It is for sure. And so I will have my stop kind of placed above this level 1.149, and I'm looking for prices to continue to break down, and maybe we test down in these lows of 1.449 area.
Yep. Okay.
Just
there you
before
go.
that.
Yep. So a little bit of a bearish setup here on the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar, and also just really quick, both of you guys have kind of made brief mentions to macro, and I'm trying to, just for the audience, ask this question because I'm curious. How much does macro, if at all, play a role in your own decision making? First, Moneyball, Austin. That's the same question, Austin Silver. So, like, even if, and I bring this up because I've seen this shift of more traders are paying attention to the macro, even if they don't actually make actionable decisions off of it, right? People still are aware. Fed did this. I know that does this to the dollar, generally speaking. How much does it play, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, macro play into your decision whether or not
it's yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So can you see this photo that I just posted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. So this is something I drew up about a couple of weeks ago, and it's like talking about becoming the 5% of actually becoming a profitable trader. And you see on social media so many times that people only talk about technicals. Oh, it's hitting support, so prices have to be rallying up from here. Oh, you have a fair value gap. You have to buy. Or if you have XYZ, then 90% of the time, 80% of the time, this is the outcome. And they sell people on that outcome of this is the one trade setup, the one pattern I trade every single day that has a 75% win rate and makes me $5,000, right? A technical edge on something like that just really doesn't exist. Those are the type of videos that get a lot of views. Like if I make a video talking about just technicals, this is the trade setup, then I'll get 20, 30,000 views. I make a video talking about sentiment, why you have to consider fundamentals, it gets 1,000 views, right? And so it's just not something that people want to learn, but it's a must, because I don't know a single profitable trader that can't tell me about the fundamentals or the sentiment or the other technicals of what's actually driving price in that direction. And so that's why you have to be paying attention to, like, crude oil. Oh, you just bought crude oil. Are you aware of the current, negotiations going on between Ukraine and Russia? That's putting a sell limit right now on that. Oh no, I don't really care about Russia, Ukraine. You better be careful about that. You better be keeping a close eye on United States and Venezuela, because those wars and those, tariffs and, the politics, they move the market. And so you have to consider what's moving the market long term, and even for the day, the news that comes up for the day. And so that's why I always say, like, when you come up with a top-down analysis and you're coming up with a trade idea, you have to be considering like the fundamentals, the earnings, the GDP, not only that, but technicals, right? The sentiment, and building a personal edge as a trader. And so you got to combine everything together like you're baking a cake. You don't just bake a cake with sugar. Honestly, I don't even know how to bake a cake. What are the ingredients to bake a cake, right? Sugar, baking soda, flour, right? And you need a certain oven. You need the oven to be preheated. You need all these things to make a nice cake, right? You don't just be like, oh, I'm making a cake. You need sugar and flour. There you go. It's going to be a pretty bad cake, right? Yep. So that's why I believe that, especially this year with me transitioning more over to swing trading, I lean a lot more into fundamentals and sentiment, because those are what's going to be driving those markets. But I still rely off of my core strategy of using technicals of supply and demand, confirmation, what other traders are looking at, and that type of stuff to make sure I'm getting good entries and exits.
I love it. 100%. You're speaking my language, that's for sure. I'm 9 out of 10 of my stuff is macro. So I love it. Great stuff. Well put. The cake analogy is spot on, although I can also not make a cake. I understand where you're going with that.
Same macro boys are putting me to sleep over
here.
Yeah,
right. Everyone
Let me go get a drink.
We'll pass
I bought AUD JPY, by the way, because you guys were going too long. I had to get into my trade. So I'm long AUD JPY. I stayed on the rules here. I traded one of the 4, and I pay zero attention to the macro in my day trading. And I've made over 6 figures this year as a scalper. And I think anyone that wants to short-term trade should not even look at Twitter, not even look at CNBC, not even look at none of that. Because everything you can do as a short-term trader in a liquid market is reactionary. You're not a big player, and I think often what you were just talking about, Austin, is cocktail talk. Okay, Russia and Ukraine are fighting. They've been fighting since 2022. Why isn't oil and gas $150 a barrel if war and oil or 40? You know what I mean? So I think often we think we're economists. Nick is probably the best out of anyone that I know. I'm not just saying that. I've said that before. And even he doesn't know all the time. But in swing trading, in the question of what is the macro, in swing trading, the macro probably matters more than it does for short-term trading. But I don't know a single short-term trader that's actually making money that talks about interest rates determining the direction of their trade. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of traders who lose money trading relying on macro sentiment to they're saying the dollar's bullish, I should be buying. That's not going to make you profitable, And I think this conversation of what is profitability, it's probably a separate conversation because you can go down a rabbit hole of it. But I don't really like talking about, are you a profitable trader? Over what time frame and over what investments are you talking about? I have guys that'll be a little bit misleading on the internet. We don't need to say names. That'll say they're a profitable trader because they buy VOO in their retirement account and let it sit there. But they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars through options day trading and scalping. So it's like, are you a profitable trader? Well, what's really your bottom line? So, and I think you can become a profitable trader in many different ways. You could be a long-term trader or a short-term, but don't conflate the two. That's where I see people on the internet saying, I just want to be profitable. That's not really what you should search for. That's not what I tell people. Searching for profitability comes and goes. Nick, you've been trading a long time. You're up 20% this year. You're beating the market this year, but you've had years you have not. So what are you, Nick? Right? So profitability is a tough conversation to have. I think it's like you should be searching for profitability instead of it as an object. You should be searching for it as a mindset. and a perspective on markets, the growth that's needed every day to still stay sharp and stay in the game.
And
So
if one thing, just to add to what you're saying, Austin,
Yeah.
too, Austin has a podcast where he's interviewed so many different types of traders. And I too have, obviously I know Moneyball Austin, same with you. Like we've met different walks of life. I would agree that I feel like a lot of the traders that I have interacted with that really know their stuff in terms of profitability to the extent of long term, they make more than they lose. A lot of them are macro traders, but I also know pure technical traders, right? So it's
Definitely.
like it's one of those things. There's many different ways to reach success in markets. There's a lot more ways to lose a lot of money in markets, and I think
Yes.
in terms of the core stuff that makes profitability, what Moneyball Austin was mentioning about building that pie chart of like stacking things in your favor, managing risk, using many confluence factors. That's game changer stuff. Even if you don't use macro, right, you're still employing the same concept of like, let's build confluence. And also, Austin Silver, your comment about like Twitter feed stuff, so true. It's really dangerous in terms of like scary news headlines. That can really derail.
Dude, I've lost so much money because I come into the market as a day trader with a bias because of something I saw on Twitter. And then it's like, this is not serving me. I should just be trusting what's working, trusting the VWAP, being reactionary, not, dudes, like today, I'm doing it today, Nick. CNBC is running headlines on data centers in space. I'm talking to my wife about figuring out which companies we should be investing in that are creating data centers in space, building 5-mile-long solar panels and doing that, right? What am I doing, bro? I'm chasing a headline. Like, that's not going to serve me necessarily. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful.
The old expression is if it's in the press, it's in the price. And that's
what I'm saying, bro. That's a good one.
FX Evolution on YouTube. I got to give him
That's a good
credibility. Yeah, it's a good.
So
one.
all of my trades, Nick, too, they're all longs, which is maybe not a coincidence based on this Fed news, right? I got the long on Bitcoin. I've got the long on AUD, JPY. I've got the long on GBP, JPY, and I got the long on gold. So I'm a big, to hit with another one-liner, I'm a big trends once established are most likely to continue guy. I don't do reversals. Like, it's not where I make money. That's where you start hoping. And then I always say hope is dope. Oh, we got 3 one-liners in there, Nick. That was good.
Yep, we're on a roll here. It's the power of the Austins. I'm just moderating you guys. I'm channeling your energies. All right.
Are we doing this wild card? Because I got an idea.
We've got the wild card. Okay. So before we do the wild card, let me also just we'll go ahead and drop here. We've got. Let me see. We've got another drop here for another DNA Instant Funded Challenge coupon. This is going to be the 25K instant funding coupon. Again, someone in the chat has asked again. I just want to clarify. If you try and claim the reward, if you try and claim the promo code and it says invalid, it's because somebody already got to it. It is first come, first serve. We are dropping the code. There it is. 25K instant challenge has now been dropped in the chat. There it is. Again, first come, first serve. If it doesn't work on claiming
take
it,
that, dude.
You missed it. So don't miss it. Be there first. Rush
crazy.
Your little, type your fingers as fast as you can. Get that challenge code. There you go.
Nick, real quick.
Yeah.
It just says here, Fed Chair Powell just said while he was speaking a little bit ago, I don't think a rate hike is anyone's base case. It's either holding here, cutting a little, or cutting a lot. Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do with that fucking headline? I can't do anything with that. That's crazy to even post that. That's not helpful.
And the prompter, the guy who asked him that question, asked, "Is it fair? Is it fair to, or is it possible to rule out that the next move is a hike?" And his response was incredibly dovish to say, basically, a hike is no one's base case. That took the hike side. That tells you that they think there's more downside to interest rates. So interesting to see that. Guys, we've got our wild card. Austin just mentioned it. This is a fun challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip here, and then we're getting into final challenge of the day. Check it out. Okay, so as you just saw, the final challenge number 5, is the wild card warfare. And basically, the idea here is this is the quote unquote ambush round where each trader throws down a surprise challenge to the other. Pick any instrument, and your trader opponent has to trade it long or short. within reason. I mean, you can't don't give me like some illiquid ETF that hasn't traded anything.
No. I want Austin to trade crude oil because he was talking about it and he likes reversals. It's at a bottom, so hopefully he'll find a good trade. I'm setting you up, dude. Warfare, oil, let's go, right?
I gotta say that's a good one. It's also what everybody chooses because everybody hates
really?
oil on these streams.
That's
Yes,
so
I mean,
funny.
I think it's a very wild card market. It's so
Look at
sporadic.
it.
So
Yeah.
good pick. Moneyball Austin, you got the stage on that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I was actually trying to buy this. I got stopped out of my long position on crude oil. I was originally long from down in here, back at this 58.6 level. I managed to capture the long from here, but I never ended up closing the trade. I did move my stop up a bit, so I did take a half loss on something like this. But honestly, if you're giving me another opportunity, where might I like looking for trading this thing? Now, I like this level down here to potentially be looking for a long opportunity here on maybe like the 1 hour or 30-minute time
Yeah, I
frame.
knew you'd like it, dude. I hooked you up there.
I know. I like that level, but I also think that you might see some sellers maybe step in up here, Austin. What do you think?
I'm not a fighter of trend. So if it's ripping to the upside, I'm trying to take a little bit more on that upside. You know, I've just been smoked too many times trying to, you know how this is what I think. And I might sound a little harsh to some of the listeners to say this, but if you're just looking left and drawing lines and thinking that it's just going to do what you think, that's just too simple. Markets aren't going to do that. Will they sometimes? Yeah. But will it make you money long term? No. So like I'm now not doing that anymore. I will trade into those levels. I will react at those levels, but not in a reaction to call a reversal. Not to be like, yo, we're hitting this one level. There's a million levels. That's why I don't do EMAs. Oh, we're on the 50 EMA. Cool, dude. 2 days ago we were on the 48 EMA. Like, what do you want me to do? You know? So I would be buying this, bro, no matter what. If you made me trade crude oil, I'd be buying this.
Honestly, when I saw this question on the sheet for looking at this trading battle, I actually had crude oil as the number one pick, and then I have a second one for you.
All right,
Because
give
I
me
was
the
like,
second
man,
one.
I have no idea what crude oil is going to do. And
You
it's always
can give them either one. Moneyball Austin, you can if you want. You can return fire and give them the same chart. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
and if I'm telling you I'll buy it, bro, you could short it and then fade me.
No, we'll mix it up. We'll mix it
Okay.
up.
All right, what do you got for me?
Yeah, so I think I will look at potentially selling this thing back up into here.
Okay.
And let me go like this, set an order. What would be, I'm looking at the futures market. What would it be? US oil?
It'd be a CL in futures.
Yeah,
For-
but I
for
don't
our
think I
broker-
can
for our
trade it
broker
on.
here, it's USO. And then if you
USO.
click where it says 8 cap, it's going to give you just the 8 cap stuff. See on the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
side where it's
right.
yeah, you won't be able to trade this one. It's USO USD,
USD?
I believe so. Or you see where it says 8 cap? You wrote SD.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
US.
Now do US oil.
US oil.
Go back one. Go back 2. Right there.
USO. Okay, there we go.
Spot.
Does it matter? Spot, this one?
I would do the spot. Yeah, the
Do the
USO
spot.
USD.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we'll do something like this. Because long term, I think it's got a pretty good buy area in general. Oil's pretty cheap long term, but I do think sellers may step in up in here. I never personally like Austin. That's where I disagree with you. Like, I never like seeing a market like this just rallying, and then I jump into the, into the market
long.
like this. I don't mind doing that if this is a long term position, or
Sure.
something like that where I'm holding for months on end or for a couple of years. Then the best time to buy is now. It's like gold when it was rallying up all year. People who are waiting for pullbacks got left in the dust from that massive gold rally and silver rally. It never pulled back, right? And so if you believe in it long term for multiple years or months, then that's the market that you should just buy, because if it's going to continue to go up and you think there's value, then just buy in now and don't miss, because you're going to be buying at a higher price,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will look at going short. I got to figure out these position sizes on something like this. So
What was your asset for me?
I got for you USD Swiss. And the reason I got USD Swiss for you is because they got and I want you to see if you can hold a position. You don't have to, but going into the Swiss rates decision.
Oh,
Yeah,
that thing
tomorrow
is
morning.
Sideways. Tomorrow morning. Great. All right.
Yeah, I think that's over the next 12 hours, correct?
Yep. It's tomorrow morning, I think.
Yeah.
Early morning for us.
It's beat down pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the one I have for you.
Nick, what's your macro take on this, dude? Tell me what the Swiss are thinking.
I thought you don't
Send me-
value the macro for the day.
Send me
trading.
some send me some chocolate, dude. You know, I value the chocolate. I'm gonna buy it. I think it's too rangy to be trending this thing. If anything, it found some trend. I'm looking back here in November, but that trend was pretty short lived from that breakout. So it doesn't seem like it's a trending currency pair. Am I fair to say that, Nick, or do you disagree with that? USD/CHF not a trender.
Not a trender. Not
Okay,
usually.
so then we'll buy it and we'll get a rip or higher, dude. We'll take a rip higher on the Fed, on the, what do they call it in the Swiss? Is it Swiss National Bank? Is that what it's called?
Yep, SNB, Swiss National Bank.
Dude, you know those guys are smart, bro. Swiss National Bank's probably one of the best it's probably one of the oldest too, right?
It is probably one of the oldest.
They funded both sides of the war, right? Like that country has managed to survive 2 world wars and on its continent. It's pretty impressive.
Yep. So yeah, I would. We'll see what happens there with the tomorrow. That could be definitely a volatile event. Could send it either way. Of course,
You probably
depending
gotta
on how they
Tighten
they
this
come out
thing
with
too,
that.
right?
I like
you
the
probably,
buy.
yeah, you
I
probably
like
got
the
to keep it
rotation.
with a tight stop. Yeah, because it's selling off pretty hard in a ranging pair going into a volatile event. We're rolling the dice here, boys, right? What are we?
It's a gamble.
When do we determine the winner here, Nick? Is it Friday?
Friday.
Okay. And then we just got to figure out these lot sizes. Did you take that short yet?
I did. Yes, I did. I think it was like $800 or $1,000.
All right, cool.
I don't know what we've been risking per trade. I don't know what you've been
Yeah,
doing.
I'm just going about 1,000. I think. around
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I think 1,000 max 1,500. I think I've been
Well,
doing.
But that
I
I'm getting
gotta share
rejected
some-
on. Yes, good.
I got to share while you sort that out. I got to share just
Yeah.
some experience after doing the number of battles that I've hosted.
Yes.
There's been a lot of times where the two traders actually agree in terms of direction, but what gets interesting is position sizing is up to the individual trader, right? So like, let's say we're both long the euro dollar. If one of us goes long with a huge position and the other takes a really tiny position, that is still a way to kind of eke out a gain over the opponent. So position sizing is something you guys can think about. And also, as we kind of come closer to the end of the show here, if you feel you want to add position or decrease position to your existing
Okay.
trades that you've already placed on, go for it. So if
Cool.
you're like, hey, we're both kind of aligned this way, I think I'm more strongly aligned with, my precious metal long than my opponent is. Totally up to you if you want to adjust your positions to just reflect that. So Austin Silver will give you a few to take a look at your own positions, and then towards the end, before we close out, of course, we will we'll go ahead and kind of do a recap on all open positions for both sides. Before we do that, give you guys a second to do that. We've got the big one, guys, in the audience. We're doing our big giveaway of the day. So get your typing fingers ready, man. This is about to be crazy. Today we are giving away for the Christmas bonus. I mean, this is Christmas come early for someone out there. I hope you get it. I hope you're ready. We're giving away a 50K instant funded coupon code in the chat. We're dropping it now. 50K instant funded. Scan the
That's
QR
awesome.
code that you see on the screen. Enter that promo code. The first person who does it gets it for free. If you do
Awesome.
not get it, if it's invalid when you try and enter it, just as a reminder,
You
'cause no
lost.
questions, you didn't get it, someone else got it. And
You lose. Too slow.
yeah, if that happens to you, you know what that means? That means you got to hit the subscribe button and come back to the next trading battle. That's why we're doing these giveaways. Great.
Are you
way
doing
to-
ones in the new year? Do you guys have a plan for that?
Oh yeah, we've got
Nice.
Trading Battle is it's leveling up. Let's just say that. If audience
Nice.
members, if you're enjoying the show, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got 2026 about to be the best year ever for Trading Battle, and hopefully we get more Austin Squared coming back at some point. This has been awesome so far. So
We could do this. Could be like Apollo versus Rocky. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4.
we could call it our Christmas special. You guys come back for Christmas every year and I don't know, figure out what's going to happen for the New Year's. Anyways, we've got all of our positions in. We've gone through all of the challenges. Before we close out the stream, for the viewers, just as a recap, especially if people have tuned in a little bit later to the show, maybe we can go Moneyball Austin first. If you want to just show us, open up your trade panel at the bottom and share with us just what you're currently positioned in, just as sort of a final look at your existing positions for today.
Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah. Did I have to make a comment on it? I was unsure about that.
All good. If you want to run through them, just kind of highlight each one. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I think the first one we are on, what are we on right now? Crude oil right now? Let me move this down so that I can see it. So in general, I like this short. I think you're pulling up into some type of little level of supply slash resistance. This thing has been rallying up. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is because I mentioned at the start, I don't like buying this thing for 24 hours after it's already rallied so much, or if a certain asset has fallen so much, especially on a day like this. I don't like to just jump into the market. So I like what I did here is I do have like half the positions where I'm actually calling the top and I'm selling it, thinking it will sell off. And then I have a couple other ones, like I think silver is where I jumped in to the long position, just trying to continue that buy because how strong. Let me go to XAG USD. I ended up just buying this because in general, the silver market is extremely strong right now. And so I just want to look to see if the buyers can continue to step in for the next 24 hours and stuff like that. So I like just trying to buy this market straight up. It's a very trendy market. Austin, you probably agree with me. I think we took the exact same trade. But in general, I'm pretty happy with my position. I got half selling, half buying. So it should even out, to be honest. I kind of like that rather than just being completely on one side or the other.
I like it. Okay, awesome. All right, same
Nice.
question over to Austin in terms of
You're in the
final
lead for
positions.
now, buddy. I'm in drawdown on my Bitcoin trade. My AUD JPY also in drawdown. I'm long everything. I got the long on USD CHF that you asked for. I got the long on GBP JPY, and I have the long, like you just said, on the gold trade. And that's the one I think where we're kind of in the same trade, where I'm long gold and you're long silver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So everybody in the audience, I just also want to mention, I've known Austin Silver for years. Moneyball Austin, I've met recently, and I'm excited to have done this with both of you guys. And I want to also encourage listeners, subscribe where you're listening. The Trading Battle here. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, 100%. But also take a moment, subscribe. Find these guys on your preferred social media platform. They post all over. Find them on theirs. And make sure to follow. I mean, this is great stuff in terms of learning to trade for free. There's so much resources out there. People like Austin and other Austin, they're putting out stuff that really can be game changer if you take the time to actually listen and learn. So,
hey, Nick.
Yeah, coming to you.
I want to cut you off really quickly because we are coming to the end of the year, and I actually want to get your guys' opinion. It's something that I like to ask if I'm ever interviewed or just talk to somebody in general. I want to know, like, what do you think over the next 2 to 3 years is a really good investment in the markets? You could be personally invested into this asset, stock, a certain ETF, whatever. What do you believe that will perform well over the next 2 to 3 years? That's a question I would like to know. And just, you don't have to share your reason why or anything like that. But if you invest in this stock, ETF, in this asset, whatever, you believe it will perform well over the next, say, 2 to 3 years. And I was kind of curious what your guys' thoughts were on that.
Yeah. And also maybe we can open that up to audience members. If you guys have one of your own, drop it in the chat. I'm just curious because that is, 2 years away in trading world might as well be a lifetime, right? Of course, if you're investing, there's some safe answers. You could say, a diversified S&P 500 index fund. I would go, just to give my 2 cents on this, I like silver. I also like gold. I like precious metals. Big reason for that is I think, you've got a rate cut cycle across a lot of major central banks, but also you've got national debt to GDPs globally that are red hot. And the potential over time for governments to pay back their ginormous and rising national debts makes people worried. And I think precious metals are a nice alternative. So I personally, and not financial advice, but I have my own, kind of investments in precious metals for that reason as a bit of a hedge to any other positioning I might have. So Austin Silver, what about you? And then we'll finish with Moneyball Austin.
Space.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out where is the gold right now. I think it's AI. Okay, let's agree it's AI. Where's the pickaxe?
Person of the year, isn't it?
Where's the
person of the year?
pickaxe?
Yeah.
I don't know, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Who got rich during the gold? It's not all the gold miners. A lot of people went broke looking for the gold, trying to find this next AI company. I want to get involved in energy, in space, nuclear, not solar, not any of that stuff. Nuclear energy, things like that, evolving ways to store and produce electricity and other forms of power that's going to be needed for AI. So I don't have any specific recommendations. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't tell all of you guys, okay? I'm just saying I would do research in that area. That's where I am actively doing research, looking for the next thing. And I'll just say
So I was going, sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say, like, if you're going to invest in like space, like, is that like, do you think a certain company, an
SpaceX.
ETF?
SpaceX
Like,
just said yesterday, $1.5 trillion valuation in 2026. There's a great one. That'll be next year, right? So stuff like that. Look, look at the companies. Just everybody can ask ChatGPT, what companies has NVIDIA invested in and taken a stake of? That's a good place to start. Where does NVIDIA see that they need to grab market share? What have they already created? That web of money with Oracle and OpenAI and Intel, right? Where else are they going to go and grab market share? How are they going to become the Amazon of AI? You know, I would just say one more thing. Think about this, everybody. It's a good question. 2 years. I was just looking on stream today at 10 years. When you had in 1980, all these companies in the top 10 of the S&P, most of them are not in the top 10 now. So things change. Cycles are slow and big. What cycle are we in? I think we're in the start of the AI cycle. Well, then what does that lead to, right? It's more specific than tech, you know? But I think healthcare, Nick, I'm on that with you last year. I think the innovative stuff that's coming in healthcare, cancer treatments, Alzheimer's treatments, things like that, big money, bro. Big money. So I think AI and healthcare coming together could be another sector to look at.
Okay, there you go. Moneyball Austin, you asked the question. Now you got to answer it too.
that healthcare is tough right now, especially with Donald Trump in office, because the ETF in general, the healthcare sector has not been doing well. It sold off, I think, like 10% earlier in the year, and it's been the slowest to recover out of all the sectors. So I personally wouldn't be looking into that healthcare unless there was a certain policy change or the Democrats got back in power or something like that. I personally don't invest too much. I don't really invest in anything in the healthcare. But regarding what do I like over the next 2 to maybe like 5 years, every year it's been the same, and I've done extremely well with it. I'm invested in it, long-term portfolios, trying to day trade it as well. Stocks, physicals, and everything like that is going to be silver. I'm a big believer in the gold and silver market, the paper to physical ratio. It's a complete disaster, I think, the United States dollar. So I believe personally that over the next 2 to 3 years, the value of your purchasing power is going to continue to decrease. And I think the silver market in general, the poor man's, what do they call it? The poor man's, Nick, help me out with that. What is it?
Poor man's gold?
Yes, the poor man's gold, right? For the silver market. So I believe in general that the silver will reach over $75 next year. I think it's already at $61 or something like that today, which it's been on quite the tear over the last week, 2 weeks. But in general, I think over the next 2 to 3 years, you'll do well in the silver and gold space, whether it's the stock market, investing in the stocks, physicals, or ETFs in general in silver.
Okay, fair enough. Well, great question. I love ending it on that. And we had a lot of people in the audience also weigh in on this. So feel free to read the chat, see what people are saying. We had a lot of people saying tech stocks, utility companies, nuclear, all sorts of different things, precious metals. So, with that said, I would encourage everybody who's listening, make sure, like I said earlier, follow the trading battle, follow these both Austins. There we go. Sorry, my thing froze for a second. Sorry about that. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up there. Like I said, make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Happy holidays is the last trading battle of the year. We ended with an absolute banger. And Austin and Austin, thank you guys very much for joining the trading battle today. And we'll, of course, update the results across the trading battle socials in coming days. Thanks, guys, very much for being here. And goodbye to everyone in the audience. Thank you all for listening.